I believe you started off on the old T-chess bass. Is that right?
Sure. When I was, that was when I was about 12, I think. That was only a very, very short time, for a few months, in a friend of mine's skiffle group, that was, in London.
Oh, yeah.
Before I moved up to Worcestershire. It was just play on a street corner by a market. But I mean, that was just sort of a thing that everyone was doing in.
Yeah.
You know, anyone who could pick one up did it, sort of thing.
What swayed you to guitar?
I don't know, it's just like a boiled thing, really. A friend of mine played guitar, his dad taught him, and I just got fascinated by that. And also, I used to live next door to my gran and grandfather, and my uncle lived there, and she had lodges and stuff, and a couple of them had really good jazz collections, and my grandmother has a good jazz collection, and I used to listen to a lot of Django Reinhardt 78s and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was fascinated by all that. So that's really basically it. And then later on, sort of Lonnie Donegan came upon the scene. That sort of helped a lot as well.
Have you ever put your finger on what it was about the blues that originally grabbed your attention?
I think it's because it was different. It was just appealing, really. Listening to, you know, a lot of bit of personal discovery when you find this music, and it was, you know, Muddy Waters and Freddie King mostly, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Otis Rush, and Memphis Slim with Matt Murphy on guitar, which was amazing. All that very, very early stuff. You know, it's just wonderful when a lot of other people were listening to stuff that I was starting to get a bit tired of. But at the same time, you know, whether it's rock and roll, whatever it is, if it's appeals, I like it. You know, I've got a pretty good cross-section of what I like. Now,
like many English bands did at the time, you went to Germany with Chicken Shack for a while in the early days. Was it a competitive scene over there amongst the other British acts that went there?
When we first went to Germany, we were at the Star Club in Hamburg, and it was people like the working. We were in the Star Club, and around the corner there was the Top 10 Club, and in the Top 10 Club, Richie Blackmore was playing in there with John Lord, and there was all sorts of people. Tony Sheridan was still about, and things like that. And we were like the first sort of blues band as such to play at the Star Club, and we started getting a lot of people in. And you know, because you did 5 40-minute spots in the course of the night, and you start like at 4 in the afternoon, you finish about 6, 7 the next morning, because there was other bands on as well. And in the end, we were like sort of bill-topping it, and we learned a lot as well, because, you know, we were pretty sort of amateur when we went there, but pretty professional when we come back. Learned a lot of discipline and stuff about going on time, and because you got fined if you didn't go on time and come off on time. And it's a book in itself, the time we spent in the Star Club. I mean, it's amazing. It was great. There's Tony Ashton was there from Ashton Garden and Dyke, and all sorts of people. And so there wasn't any sort of opposite. There was, you know, nobody was sort of. Everybody was just earning a living, basically. I think. I mean, to us it was great, but the others had been there for a while, and they were just there earning a living and getting through things, really.
It sounds like it was a pretty hard grind. Looking back on that now, how important do you rate that time as in terms of your grounding as a musician?
Oh, it was very important. I mean, it was wonderful. I loved that time when I was out there. It was got a lot of help from people. Everybody it was like a bit of a. It was like the sort of English-Scottish community living in Hamburg, which we got introduced to and sort of taken under their wing, as it were, a lot of them. And it was great fun, you know. It wasn't really that hard because we were enjoying it so much, you know. And it was brilliant. Loved it.
Now, the band experienced quite a few lineup changes during its heyday. Was this unsettling at all to the band?
Not really. When Christine won the Melody Maker Award thing, she decided that she was going to, because she'd done this I think she sort of overstepped it a bit because she thought she'd form her own band. She's not realising that, as a lot of bands have done, that when you've got a special combination, if you break that up, you're going to lose something, you know, and you've got more chance. If you've got 3/4 of that combination left, you've got more chance of doing something onward than you have being just a quarter of the combination, you know, and going off on your own, which is what she did.
Yeah.
And she made an album and stuff, and it totally bombed, you know, nothing happened, and we did I wrote another single, Tears in the Wind, and that went in the top 10, so that answered the question, really. And the lineups that changed were basically, I mean, Dave Bidwell, he went to another band, and it just sort of, things naturally happened, because there was a lot of that going on anyway, that you didn't even think about. You just didn't really notice much. I just tried to pick out people that were, you know, good to work with and stuff, really, but there was a couple that weren't very good to work with. But line-up-wise, I mean, for the last 12 years, in the 12 years, there's only been one change. That's the bass player, and that was recently. So it's pretty settled at the moment, you know.
At what point in time during the band's existence did you feel that it became the band that you originally set it out to be? Where it, I guess, more or less matured into the band that you wanted it to become?
I don't know. I haven't really reached that yet, because there's still, like, you know, I still sort of think about keyboards or saxophone or something like that. I'm sort of thinking about those sort of things at the moment. But I mean, I enjoy when there was a time in the early 70s when I had a trio. It was a power blues rock trio, and that was with. First of all, there was Johnny Glascock on bass, who went on to be with Jethro Tull, who sadly died not that long ago, really, as a medical condition, heart condition. And after Johnny Glascock, we had Bob Daisley, who's from Australia, who's, you know, done all the stuff with Ozzy Osbourne and Rainbow thing, bass player. And Bob's just moved back out to Australia, actually, a little while ago. And he was with the trio until we changed it from that. And the drummer went a bit round the bend, you know. He went to Italy, which sometimes can drive anyone round the bend. And he lost it in Italy when he got back. He totally lost it. And that sort of finished that combination, really, as such. And then it sort of soldiered on through the 80s. I mean, the 80s weren't sort of a very nice time for me. I got a bit sick of it, so I wasn't that. I was just playing every now and again when I felt like it, really. I wasn't sort of very intent on doing very much, because I basically got a bit tired of it, and I just want to get out of it for a while and do a bit of travelling and stuff. And then 1989 I started seriously thinking about doing things properly, and it's taken, well, over the last, you know, it's just built up now from then through till as we speak, really.
So looking back, you'd probably say you needed that break in the 80s to be able to...
I was doing stuff, but nothing very positive.
Yeah.
You know, I had a band called Broken Glass, which we put together with various people. That was very, very good. That was like a project, though. It was just something different to do, really. You know, just a one-off. And then went back to Chicken Shack again and carried that on. And then just sort of did a bit here and there through the 80s, say till about 88, 89. And then I started getting right back into it again.
There's probably a lot less pressure on you now than what there probably would have been a couple of decades ago too.
Yeah, because I look after a lot of the business myself, so I know what's going on. I mean, there's horrendous nightmares that could be told about, about things that happened to me and other bands and band members, people today who are still trying to get royalties back because they signed contracts that were bad for them, and they were signed up with very bad people who ripped them off. And everyone's done it. I don't think there's an artist really from that era that can honestly hold his hand up and say it never happened to him or her. I mean, so still. I mean, I'm getting into a legal thing at the moment, you know. So about the early Blue Horizon stuff, you know, I'm owed a lot of money from all that, and it's you know, but it's getting easier to do that now because all the new laws that have come out. There's much more to protect the artist than there ever was before. Well, there was nothing to protect the artist in the old days. There was nothing at all. I mean, if you were a bit sharp and you got a gang of lads of 20, 21 or 19 or 18, you know, that are as naive as a day's long, you could just clean up and turn yourself into a millionaire with not really doing anything very much, you know, and then saying bye-bye, lads, you know. That's happened lots of times. And it'll happen again. I expect with somebody or other.
Overall, over the years, how would you sum up how you've got on with record companies?
Not very well, really.
Not too good?
Record companies don't like it when you can outthink them. They really don't like that, and they really are convinced that they are the only people who knows what's best for you. The musicians always last in the line sort of thing, you know, and you've got all that record company ball that they come out with, you know, the way it's like we've got this cretinous thing over here called political correctness. It was designed by idiots for idiots, and where did it come from? America, ladies and gentlemen. And I detest it. I won't have anything to do with that sort of robotic-minded rubbish. And I'm like that with... I'm like that with anything in business, you know. I just won't have it. I won't bow down to anything or prostitute myself to something that, you know, it's for the good of you, Stan. At the time I thought, is it really? I don't think so, mate. You know, I've walked out of A&R offices, A&R directors' offices, you know, telling them where to put their record contract because they wanted to change this and change that, and we think you should do this. And so, well, if you think that, why don't you go on the stage and I'll sit behind your desk and do nothing all day, ripping people off, you know? And I won't have it. I've got a reputation for being rather on the strong-headed side when it comes to all that, but it is respected by a lot of people. And then there are other people who can't deal with it, so they don't talk to you, but I'm quite happy with that. You know, I don't want to talk to them either. I'm with Indigo Records at the moment, Indigo Trojan in Camden Town in London, and I get on well with Frank Lee and stuff. We're just discussing the budget for an album at the moment. But I've always got 2 or 3 German offers always that are there for me any time I want, if I want them. But I try to keep it in this country now if I can. And I'm going to America next year, and there's people interested out there as well. So I only make one album per one contract, so I don't get tied down.
Oh, that's good.
So as soon as I make the album, I'm free to make another one with whoever I want.
Yeah. Good move.
Because if you get that anchor around your ankle, you know, here are my boy, here's loads of money. No, you know, it's 5 albums, that's the rest of your life tied up.
Gotcha, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So I won't do that. So I suppose you could say there's a couple of rungs up the ladder that I most probably kicked out the way because I just wouldn't do what certain people were trying to get me to do, you know, because it was for their benefit, it wasn't for mine. And I wouldn't do that, you know, stuff them. I don't want to know. So I just do it, you know, like old Frank Sinatra said, I do it my way, you know, and I do.
What about
they don't like it, you know.
What about the studio, Stan? Is that still an enjoyable environment for you?
No, I don't like studios much. It goes in phases. Sometimes I think, oh yeah, I fancy this. It depends on the studio. There's certain ones, you know, that you think this is a nice ambience. There's a great one down in Wales here called Loco Studios. I like that place. But some of them, I walk in, I think, oh my God, I don't want to be in here. And so I tend to get everything pretty well ready and go in and next thing I'm doing is some recording where we do it all live, you know, around the mics. Instead of putting down backing tracks, then dubbing stuff on that and all that, we're just going to do all the basic stuff, bang, there and then, get the freshness out of it. And then we can get the overdubs on out of it, then I can get out of it clean out the studio and away, you know. Because I don't really enjoy studio environment, to be honest. I like live on stage, mate.
And just for our listeners here, well, what is the current lineup of your band?
Current lineup of the band is, well, obviously me. Gary Davis is on guitar as well. A guy called Jim Rudge, he's the new bass player. He's been with us about 6 months, a young guy playing bass. And Bev Smith on drums. And apart from Jim, the other two have been with me now nearly 12 years. So it's a pretty stable lineup. That's what it is at the moment. So if we get a special occasion, I might add a bit of sax or keyboard to it. I'm thinking about doing that for a one-off thing shortly. I'll see what happens.
And if you had to pin it down to one thing, you probably covered some of it already. What would be your key to survival in music for so long?
Well, there's a phrase that's become very well known, actually. It's you can get a badge, I think, even now. It says trust no one. You know, don't sign anything without checking it out and checking it out properly, and trust your own instincts, you know, and try and you know, I'm afraid in the music business there's a lot more bad than there is good, and there's always anything to do with entertainment, you know, as you know, whether it's boxing or films, recording, in any profession there's bad, but in the music business I'm afraid there is more bad than good, I think, you know, and you have to watch out for all that. But you know, trust your own instincts and do it, you know, if you need to. If you want to do it properly, do it yourself.
Fair enough too. And just before I let you go, what's on your books for the upcoming months? What's in for the rest of the year?
I'm in Germany the last week of this month for 6 days, and then I'll be back here. In October. I'm doing various places in England, and then in November I'm doing 12 or 14 shows in Germany again, and then in December I'll just do 3 or 4 things. Then I'm going to hide down in the coal cellar for the Millennium Night out of the way, and then in the new year we're setting up for America. We're also setting up for a European tour, which is top to bottom Scandinavia, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Italy. Doing that. And next year is going to be a lot of foreign stuff, a lot of being out of England. Next year, very heavily so. And I should think the year after as well.
Oh, tremendous.
But it also, you know, there's the record thing, but once again, you know, I've told the record company the next album I do it's got to broaden the horizons, it's got to appeal to more people, and it's got to be interesting with a lot of depth, and you know, you're not going to do that in 5 minutes. So I'm taking that very slowly. I just get it, you know, I want to get it really top drawer, then we'll do it.
Tremendous. Listen, Stan, I won't keep you. I know you've got things to do.
No problem.
Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for many, many years of wonderful music. It's a treat to speak to you and hear someone who's really got a handle on their career after going through everything they've been through. And maybe you can squeeze in an Australian visit in there somewhere. We'd love to see you down here.
Well, yeah, we've always, you know, if anybody's out there who's interested in Chicken Shack, we're on a website, Robert Phipps website, which is in Belfast.
Yeah, I'll be sure to give that out.
And I'll tell you what, are we still on air?
Oh, actually, we're recording anyway, yeah.
Oh, right. I'll just write, if I take your name down, full name.
Yep.
Yours is?
It's
package to you. And you know, so if there's anybody out there interested, you know, in getting us over there, you can always let Robert Phipps know, or I'll send you you know, an address for me.
Okay.
In a little package of stuff, and so if anything crops up, you know, give us a shout. And if
I'll do that.
Talk to me again.
I know 1 or 2 promoters, and look, there's a great blues scene down here, plenty of festivals, so you'd fit in perfectly.
Oh, brilliant. Well, you know, so if anything happens, you got my number and everything, so we'll be in touch.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Good on you, Stan. Well, take care.
Well, thanks for doing it.
Well, no problem at all. Hope we can catch up with you soon.
Okay, mate.
Okay, cheers.
Lovely. Bye-bye.